General Conference is the worldwide gathering of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints twice a year during the first weekend of April and the first weekend of October. Church leaders from around the world. No, at Temple Square. That's where they work. They're not from around the world. We have a bishop from Sweden who's here to speak at General Conference. No. The 12 apostles in the first presidency are in the administration building. Suarez was brought from Brazil to America and then became an apostle. Uchtdorf from Germany. Cassé from France. Catching the pattern? Kieran from Saudi Arabia. They don't come from the world. They're here in Utah now. God, they just lie to you. They deceive people. They can't tell the truth. They can't just be honest. And so they tell you how to prepare for General Conference. Ask questions. Well, isn't that what got you in trouble in the first place, was members asking questions? And then you having to refer us to our stake president for disciplinary action of a good whipping? But this is how they've twisted it now. Think about questions that are weighing on your mind. Ask questions through prayer and reflect on them while you listen to General Conference. 2, listen to the Spirit. Prepare your heart and mind to be open to worshiping Lucifer. To personal revelation from the Spirit to seek what God wants you to know, feel, and understand. Oh. And then record your feelings. I knew what I was talking about. Travis Wayne Goodsell. So, as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they are told and therefore believe that the Book of Mormon is literal history. So anybody who says otherwise is an apostate and antichrist and needs to be ignored and hope that they go away. So, we will now go over 1 Nephi chapter 1 in the learning of the Mormons. So, since it's the same religion as existed anciently, therefore the ancient Jews here in the Book of Mormon were worshipers of the Great Spirit Jesus. So it's Jesus Christ, not the Jewish Christ. So the Jews are now going to be Mormons. And Zedekiah would be the new president of Judah, taking over. Babylon putting him on the throne. We can put Trump in there. He's the current president. Why not? Let's put Trump in there. So we'll start verse 2. Nephi writes a record in the language of his father, which consists of the learning of the Mormons and the language of English. And I know that the record which I make is true, because I feel it with every fiber of my being. We're likening the scriptures unto ourselves, and I make it with mine own hand, and I make it according to my knowledge, my feelings, writing in my journal. This is coming up. Depending on where it's listed. Yesterday I tried to do video segments of the news. That was another failure. I only got to 3 of them, and now I've got 3 pages of them. So we're going to do it back to the original way. Get them out of the way before it's old and busted news. So it's coming up. Church announced yesterday that conference is coming. Prepare for it. So write in your journal about your feelings. So, for it came to pass in the commencement of the first year of the reign of Trump, king of Utah, my father Lehi, having dwelt at Salt Lake City in all his days, and in that same year there came many living prophets of Jesus, prophesying unto the people, you better repent and pay your tithing, go to the temple frequently repeat the name Jesus, to avoid being disrespectful and irreverent. Or the great city, Salt Lake City, must be destroyed. What the hell? We're righteous. Bleep you. We've done nothing wrong. We're the chosen ones. We're the youth of the noble birthright. How dare you tell us we're wicked? We're leaving. We're sensitive snowflakes, and we're taking our emotional support animals and all the drugs that psychologists gave us to have us overdose, go to trial, and leaving. We're going to condemn you on social media platforms. We're taking away your religious freedom rights. Wherefore it came to pass that my father Lehi, as he went forth, prayed unto the Lord, yea, even with all his heart, in behalf of the people. And it came to pass that he prayed unto the Lord, and there came a literal history, pillar of fire, that literally history dwelt upon a rock before him. See, it's not just Joseph who uses rock and a hat. And he saw and heard much, and because of the things which he saw, see, it says he sees it. Obviously, it's literal history. And heard it, he began to quake and tremble exceedingly. Came to pass that he returned into his own house in Salt Lake City. I feel safe in Salt Lake City. I feel safe in Salt Lake City. Oh, that would be so cool if AC/DC did that version. You've got AI now. You can do that. Why hasn't none of you done it? The Mortal Kombat Saints something. Why haven't you guys done it? Utah Saints. Isn't it Utah Saints? I think it's Utah Saints. And he cast himself upon his bed, being overcome with the Holy Ghost and the things which he had seen. And being thus overcome with the Holy Ghost, he was carried away in a literal history, even that he saw physically with his spiritual eyes the heavens opened, and he thought he saw God sitting upon his throne, surrounded with numerous concourses of angels in the attitude of singing and praising Jesus. And it came to pass that he saw Jesus descending out of the midst of heaven, and his luster was above that of the sun at noonday, just like in Joseph Smith. Footnote. So true. And he saw the 12 apostles following him, and their brightness did exceed that of the stars of the celestial kingdom. Sun, moon, stars. And they came down and went forth upon the face of the earth. Adam, we have come to give you further light and knowledge the Father promised to send you. Have you any tokens? I do. Will you give them to me? I cannot, for God told me not to. Do you sell your tokens and signs for money? You have them, I assume. And he came and stood before my father as one man speaketh to another, body of flesh and bone, as tangible as man's, literal history, gave him the Book of Mormon, and commanded him that he should read it. Came to pass that that as he read, he was filled with the Holy Ghost. And he read, saying, Woe, woe unto Salt Lake City, for I have seen thine abominations. Yea, and many things did my father read concerning Jerusalem, that it should, or Salt Lake City, that it should be destroyed, and the inhabitants thereof, many should perish at funerals. It was just down the block of where I used to live. Coming up. Story time today. Many should be carried away captive to the bleep hole countries where they didn't come from. ICE facilities, asylums, expanded jails, homeless concentration camps, all to continue on the Nazi experimentation on man, highest per capita in the world ever, even over the Jews. And it came to pass that when my father had read and seen many great and marvelous things, he did exclaim many things unto Jesus, such as, Great and marvelous are thy works, O Jesus, Almighty. Thy throne is high in the heavens, and I am doing thy will. You will never appear to me. Even, well, I guess he did. And thy power and goodness and mercy are over all the inhabitants of the earth, if they just conform and comply. Giving up their agency to follow Jesus. You have your free agency to give up your agency and follow Jesus, or you will be activated by the Strengthening Church Members Committee. That thou wilt not suffer those who come unto thee that they shall perish. We're going to save all mankind, and not one shall perish. Send me, here I am. Dude, you named your channel Send Me? Are you AI? Did you go on a mission? Do you not read your scriptures? Dude, really? You're the one that's going to come out with the church shooting, though. I'm expecting yours. You're late. That other dude beat you to it. The other temple reporter dude beat you to the news. And after this manner of language was my father in the praising of Jesus. For his soul did rejoice, and his whole heart was filled, because of the things which he had seen, yea, which the Lord had shown unto him. I'm the closest. You have an insider at that church, because I was just down the block, and even though my church was further down the block at the Stake Center, I know all about the gang. Story time coming up. So, and now I, Nephi, do not make a full account of the things which my father had written. For he had written many things from his sensitive snowflake feelings and in his journal entries. Spiritual witness feelings. So true. which he saw in visions and literal history dreams. And he also had written many things which he, as a prophet, therefore prophesied. Because a prophet prophesies, because prophecies are what a prophet speaks. You can only be a prophet authorized to be able to prophesy, because that's what a prophet is one who prophesies, because he's prophesying because he's a prophet. We don't predict the future. That's witchcraft. We deny the gifts and powers of that wicked spirit. Spake unto his children, of which I shall not make a full account. But I shall make an account of my proceedings in my days. Behold, I make an abridgment of the record of my father upon real literal history plates, 200 pounds, which I have made with mine own hands. Wherefore have I abridged the record of my father? Then will I make an account of my own life. And those will be upwards of a ton. £200, much greater ton. Therefore, I would that you should know that after Jesus had shown so many marvelous things unto my father Lehi, yea, concerning the destruction of Salt Lake City, behold, he went forth among the Mormons and began to predict the future. What? Nobody can predict the future. Bednar said so. Coming up. No, this is not the fulfillment of the Kirtland prophecy. No, what the hell is wrong with you, kid? Who's your bishop? I'm going to get Gilbert to contact your bishop. Coming up. And to declare unto them concerning the things which ye have both seen and heard. So we can put me in this place, because this is how you believe. Travis! And it came to pass that the Mormons did mock Travis because of the things which he testified of them. For Travis truly testified in YouTube videos of their wickedness and their great abominations, worshiping Jesus rather than the Jewish Christ. The Jewish Christ is Jesus, Travis. And Travis testified of the things which he saw and heard in actual visions and dreams, not literal histories. Warning about what's coming for Oakes' birthday in advance. Months in advance. Giving calendar dates and clock times. Being a translator. A seer, prophet, revelator, translator. The gifts and powers of the Jewish Christ. Apostate. False Christ. We need to censor his YouTube channel. Get the Mormon YouTube employee on it. The church is in control of the stocks of YouTube. So they gotta have their church's standards and values, community guidelines. And also things which Travis twisted in the Book of Mormon. Manifesting plainly the coming of the Jewish Messiah. It's Jesus, Travis. Jesus. I did not write in a Jewish Christ, David. I did what I was told to do, David. and footnoted Deuteronomy 18 and Matthew. I also had Acts. To the comparable scriptures. So if you're not happy with it, bleep you. You can't put an IE or an OR in because we're supposed to get rid of those. I didn't say it was another Christ than what the scriptures were telling us. So, full disclosure for those of you who are new and haven't been following me to understand what the hell am I talking about, because you don't study. You're a natural chosen one. You don't even exercise. Anybody want to beat it? The second wave of the footnoting program, there was, it was Elder Scott who was in charge of it this time around, and there was a member of the 70 who was also in charge. I think there was a couple of them from the 70. And they had, in the church office building, a person in charge of the priesthood curriculum department, as it was called back then. And normally they're the ones who were in charge of publishing the Ensign magazines every month and any manuals for Melchizedek priesthood and Relief Society lessons, because the church gives the orders. So there's a supervisor over this department. And so when the church came to him and said, hey, we're starting up a committee to redo the footnotes, he then is assigned to find the people to be a part of the project. So he goes out, has them fill out an application, they fill it out, and as long as they're not divorced and they're worthy and have a temple recommend, etc., etc., that's why they usually go to BYU or the seminary institute courses for those teachers to assist with the project, because they're involved with the scriptures. Shouldn't they know them? You got them reading manuals. Obviously they don't know their scriptures. Nonetheless, not everybody can be a Bruce R. McConkie who willingly and knowingly screws up the footnotes and the chapter headings and Bible Dictionary Topical Guide. Right, Avraham Gileadi. Avraham Gileadi went up against Bruce R. McConkie and lost. And so, I had let myself be known to the supervisor because I had gone to the church with my Paleo-Hebrew decipherment. I'm trying to find other documents that I can run my Paleo-Hebrew decipherment test with. Did Joseph Smith do anything? F. Michael Watson thinks he knows it all and went to BYU professors who told him that Joseph Smith is not a translator. Then I went to Farms, and sure enough, apparently it was John Tvetness who told F. Michael Watson that Joseph Smith is not a translator, and said over the phone that Joseph Smith is not a translator. And then talking with John Gee referred me to Zucker from the University of Utah. I saw that I have that in my files still, rather than on this file. I didn't label it correctly. Nonetheless, so yeah, I went to the University of Utah, went to their ancient archives department, It was a secret file that they hid away there at the University of Utah. So I asked the guy behind the desk if they had it in their files, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's just a little pamphlet. You want it copied?" "Sure." So I got my own copy. Now it's all over the internet. Anybody can get it. Louis Zucker, his devotional speech at BYU, telling the Mormons at BYU that Joseph Smith is a false translator. That was John Gee's recommendation. Church isn't true, Travis. And so I didn't believe John Gee either. So I went to the church office building in person and was referred to the supervisor of the priesthood curriculum department. So he knew about me, and he said, "Well, the process is that if you give me anything, I'm going to file it away in our dumpster called the file cabinet, where everything sits forever and nobody bothers to look for it." And so, all right, fine, whatever. So I went my way and went back to work. So one day, after being transferred over to Beehive Clothing in the warehouse, where I fixed it eventually, we're not to the point where I fixed it yet. They're still telling me that this is the best that we can do. It's the best. Nobody can do it better. Everybody's tried. Everybody thought they could do it better, and they couldn't. But I can fix it. So one day while I'm working, taking a pallet from the racks back to the pick line, or not the pick line, the conveyor belt, and I see him. He's just walking in. And I go, "Oh, right, because it's all the church. He works for the church. This is a business of the church. So, yeah, obviously he can get permission to come walking in." And he says, "We've got a project that we're working on, and I would like to offer you the opportunity to do it. Here's the resume that you need to fill out and return to me." And, okay. So I did, and turned it in, and then I got word back. He said, "Well, because you put on there that you're divorced, I had to take it to President Hinckley directly for his approval. So you got the highest approval possible," because he was hinting that Jesus Christ told President Hinckley to approve me. And Hinckley was very excited to have me. "Are you sure? Because F. Michael Watson reported me to my Younger Singles Ward Stake presidency and bishopric for activation purposes." For which the stake president demanded he was going to go to Temple Square to the administration building and talk to President Hinckley in person to find out what's going on. Never came back, and there was a second counselor who told me when I came to the office to get the report that I can continue my research, but don't go against the church, Travis. Thus, I was a part of the program. So I know all about it. And the supervisor gave us the First Presidency statement by Benson on how they're not translators. Told us that what we were supposed to do, giving us enlarged papers of each page of scriptures, and we're only supposed to do a few at a time, and we're supposed to share books. We don't want one person doing all the books. Isaiah, we have to have people sharing. So that's why I tell you, go over the footnotes in English, not the new version in the foreign languages, of Isaiah. It will be very clear to you who is Bruce R. McConkie and who is not. Because the original group was given Strong's Concordance of the Bible. And so there were actually some people who saw the word "the" and went to Strong's Concordance of the Bible. Ooh, here's a the. There's lots of thes. I am not kidding. Because you go to it and you go, what the hell? Where's the footnote? What is this supposed to be? I see a the in this verse, and I see a the in this, but I can't figure out what they're footnoting this for. Unbelievable. And so, yeah, I was able to tell him, yeah, I've got a Strong's Concordance of the Bible, but I don't use it. It's stupid. It needs to be fixed. But I didn't tell him that part, because that was my education. Nonetheless, we got an actual floppy disk of the CD-ROM version that I currently have and use, but it had the Hebrew and Greek for the Old and New Testaments that was done by the students at BYU, not the teachers, but the teachers got the credit for it. I was offered that same type of job upon graduating at the University of Lethbridge in Alberta, Canada. Thomas Robinson, my ancient Middle East studies professor and Greek professor, he came to me after I graduated, because Greek was the last class that I took before I was heading off to Utah. And he asked if I would help him with his CD-ROM that he was going to make with his updated version of his manual that was the textbook for our class for mastering Greek. And you can see that still published and available on Amazon. That would have been me. I said, I've graduated. I'm going to the place called Utah. Utah? What's that? Hey, that's exactly what my basketball coach in Southern California told me when I told him I'm going to Rick's College. Rick's College? Do they even have a basketball team? Where are they? Well, it's in Idaho. Idaho? Where's that? And so he was completely bummed. Thomas Robinson, just mortified. I was his best student, obviously. He knew and trusted me. And so I, knowing that I shouldn't just break the bad news and see ya, I recommended John Penny, who's a fellow Mormon, who was also taking the class with me, us. And so he said, oh, okay. And I think John Penny said he also turned him down. But yeah, it would have been me that would have been the programmer on it. And then Thomas Robinson would have gotten all the credit. So that kind of process. So yes, I know things because of that experience. And so David Gaunt comes in one day in our committee meeting of 4 men. We were the top committee going over everybody else's work for the final draft. And he comes into the room, and we're just sitting there waiting for David to bring the papers. And he said, "It's Jesus." It's Jesus. I should probably throw that picture in so that you guys know who I'm talking about. Because I found out he died in 2020. All the papers are filled up? The hell? So, yeah, I was woken up this morning to lightning, thunderstruck. Going to pick. It's Jesus. There we go. All is well in Zion again. So I know things, Mormons. You don't know me. Why would you judge me hastily? We shall continue. So when the Mormons heard these things, they were angry with Travis. As the Danites with Joseph Smith, whom the Danites cast out of Kirtland, Missouri, and then shot and murdered him. And so they also sought Travis's life, that they might take it away. Behold, I, Travis, will show unto you the tender mercies. Women! Stop it! Of Jesus compels you, for those of the chosen ones. I am the chosen one. A handful of people on a leaky boat gonna save the world. Exactly. Mortal Kombat! Because of faith only, faith without works, to make them mighty even unto the power of deliverance. So they banned him from social media, shunned him from the community, cast him out of their church, tried to censor and silence his YouTube channel, rigged the algorithms against him. You know, typical Mormon stuff. Okay. So obviously there's some problems here. We can't merge Jesus with the Jews. It doesn't work. Because you have to turn me into Lehi. And you don't want that. Because Lehi's not the president of the church. He's not one of the 12 apostles. He's just a regular Mormon. He's actually getting visions. He's actually predicting the future. He's actually giving calendar dates and clock times of the 23rd of September 2017. Just like I did. He's actually a translator of Paleo, Hebrew, and Egyptian. Just like me, who had to decipher them. Yes, Egyptian has to be fixed. So if you heard yesterday's church news video with the picture that I put in for you, I went over how Aramaic is not Hebrew. And so if, because it's Aramaic script for Genesis, which too many oopsies scholars with PhDs, professionals in the field, say is Hebrew. Dum 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 dum. Hi, Joseph. Hi. An angel appeared to me and gave me the Book of Mormon. Oh. Okay. So what did I do? Oh, Genesis. So we can check right now. Bring up the Dead Sea Scroll, see if it's a forged document or not. Because when it first hit the news that the Rothschilds were taking control and censoring scholars from being a part of the project. Because I think Brown, Driver, and Briggs were denied. I can't remember the scandal exactly, but I remember there was a scandal. So yeah, the A, yeah, this is Aramaic. What the hell? because that's not the chi for the T. Yeah, this is Aramaic, but I do see they're trying to merge it with Paleo-Hebrew script. And there, oh my God. Yeah, uh-oh. 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 We've got breaking news. Travis Wayne Goodsell exposes the Dead Sea Scrolls as a forged fraud. This was not known prior to Constantine. Ta-da! Real simple and easy. So, as I went over with you, I didn't have documents to work with, to run tests with. I knew that the biblical Hebrew text with the added stuff was screwing things up, as I went over with you in great detail. And so after doing the vocabulary tests, and there were more that I did beyond what I told you yesterday, because I also went over the Greek using Scott and Liddell's Greek-English lexicon, doing the same thing to that book, oh my hell, and running the comparative test with those letters that are obviously matches. And so then Greek would have to be deciphered for the extra stuff that they have above and beyond Paleo-Hebrew script. And then using also Paleo-Greek, because they have extra letters that were dropped with Koine Greek. And so I was finding direct matches with certain definitions within my devoweled Brown Driver Briggs dictionary. And so I was able to make the connection that those matches were from the original language. Because they're the same script, thus same vocabulary. And so I didn't really get to that point to do a thorough publication of my research for vocabulary, other than the initial vocabulary that I went over with yesterday for you. And so then I also went to Chinese, not just Egyptian. Well, that was for the script. Chinese also was for the script. Because I kept going. You know, even though all I need is a minimum of 3 to confirm fact, I'd keep going. And because I know I've got something. And so by doing this, I'm also able to recognize that I need to fix Chinese, fix Egyptian, fix Greek, etc. Fix cuneiform, because scholars botched it with what I just exposed with the Dead Sea Scrolls. Fraud. So, because yeah, it's a little weird that a modern day kid, 2,000 years later, just happens to stumble across a cave which was readily available to anybody else for 2,000 years, and nobody else found them just sitting there in the pot. And the Rothschilds are involved. Nobody trusts them. Or Rockefellers. I guess it's Rockefellers, isn't it? Yeah. And there's probably a family bloodline tie. Whatever. So yeah, lots of things, but all of that is unnecessary. Go to the document, run the scientific test, and boom. There are things in there that should not have been in there. If you're going to claim that it was from the date that you're claiming it's from. But that's why these scholars got things wrong. So, yeah, lots of news stories since the Dead Sea Scrolls where people, because they don't trust anything anymore, you have to get these people who come out and deny and say it's a forgery, it's a fraud, and so then you get the Hammurabi texts that come out and everybody's pissed and upset. No, it goes contrary to Jesus. And the Gnostic Gospels especially. Jesus was not married. He did not have sex. He was pure. He wasn't defiled by woman. What part of Genesis did you not get? Man fell because of sex. So, let's spend the next 3 hours finishing off these 3 papers and get them out of the way. I was up late getting pictures and, oh, crap.
To be in a place in such close proximity to Kirtland, this is about Cleveland. It's the Cleveland Temple. But in Kirtland, in the dedicatory prayer, the prophet Joseph highlighted the fact that the fame of this house will go across the world. Well, it's coming back home to Cleveland.
The land of Kirtland will be built up. That was one of the promises given. Does this feel like somewhat of a fulfillment of that prophecy?
I wouldn't say it's fulfilled in total. It's certainly a part of.
We're concerned that we don't take as seriously as we should the covenants that are made in there and to attend as often as we should, rather than looking at them as, that's a beautiful structure.
In many areas of the world where the people have had to sacrifice, there's always the potential danger that close proximity brings a casualness. It can be the case that, oh, I'll go next week. I'll go next week because it's close. You don't find that dramatically, but that's the caution, is that now that it's here, we have to be very, very cautious that we don't become complacent.
Lake Powell has dropped to new record low water levels. This comes less than 2 weeks after Lake Mead also reached a record low.
Well, the second largest reservoir in the United States is now at the lowest level ever recorded. Lake Powell is approaching levels so low that it may not have enough water to generate hydropower.
shift change. They already shut me down at 16 seconds on the second time around. So, perfect segue though. But, yep, they're now pissed after my weekend videos. How predictable they are. Bastards. Church isn't true. Get over it, you sensitive snowflakes. So, to start us off, until I get frozen again by the Mormons who can't handle the truth, the gang shooting just down the block from where I used to live in West Valley, where I've been telling you all those great faith-promoting stories of how I'm the apostate. And so, yeah, obviously I caught on when somebody had notified the cops in advance saying that there was a potential for some issues, and then there were. And then the Intermountain Medical Center was restricting people from coming in. It's a massive police presence at the hospital as well, there at the emergency room in the backside on the east. I was hoping that they would show the full picture of the hospital, but they didn't, so I couldn't get that snapshot. But yeah, it's another gang shooting, so I expect, send me! Jesus, send me! I'll save all Mormon kind, that not one will be lost. Send me! I don't speak for the church. I'm not trying to be, this is a graphic violence to the subject, and I don't want anybody to lose their faith. Should we do all the pictures after the introduction to punish you for what you did to me? Probably should. And then do a sign saying, explain pics after intro. Okay. God. It will not stop. We're going to prove the church is true by enforcing priestcraft with crime and violence, because it's in the Book of Mormon. It's in the Book of Mormon. We're just following the Book of Mormon. So you admit I'm a prophet? Just like Lehi. So, yeah, it's sad. But I get to tell you a pretty story about the gangs there at the border. Kearns, West Valley, on the other side of the street. I was forced to be neighborhood watch president because I was forced to be vice president, and the president bailed. So I became president by default. Nobody else wanted to vote in somebody else. So nobody else wanted to do patrols, so I had to do it myself. Didn't have a car. And so I did my patrols by running every morning. And so instead of the normal route that I took, which was straight west, which had a hill up to the train tracks, and that was the turnaround point, and then come back, I then started running in my neighborhood. And then as more ward members from other wards wanted to be a part of it, can not start their own. Because West Valley City police want neighborhood watches to be as minimal as possible. And there's some agency taking and Big Brother involvement, and people don't really want to get involved with police for Big Brother stuff, and real lots of issues. That's why people are unwilling to be involved to protect their neighborhood until they get affected. And then they complain that others aren't doing their job to protect them. And so, doing my runs now, I was able to witness and report crimes taking place. We had neighbors, Mormon neighbors, who were victims of crime, break-ins and thefts of vehicles, being abandoned in other places, because that's what they do in Utah. Utah has shut down chop shops. So instead of chop shopping, people will steal the vehicle, strip it of anything of value, and then abandon it somewhere else. And then they'd go to the pawn shops or other places to try to get money for what they obtained. It's the same tactic that I saw at the Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell of human trafficking, and did my live reporting on scene. Dear God. It's horrible the way Utah treats Utahns. And they cover it all up and hide it from you so that you don't know. Then they tried to murder me there too. And so I was putting a stop to it, getting the cops involved, stopping their operations. They knew that they needed to stay away. And the time to do these hidden works of darkness was during 2 to 4 a.m. So I adjusted my running schedule to be from 2 to 4 a.m. rather than at 4 after it already happened. And so I was cleaned up the streets, chasing out the criminals and the gang that owned the area. And so because of that vacuum of chasing out the actual gang that was in charge of that area, other people thought, oh, a vacuum, we're going to go in and do stuff. But I was chasing them out, getting rid of them. And the particular gangs that I saw were mostly white guys. One in particular I came down and turned left, and saw a car pull up from the one street where the other church is, and pulled in and parked in front of the house. And I witnessed the 3 guys get out of the vehicle, and they all had miniature backpacks with strapped in, whatever they are, knapsacks on their backs. And they all walked right back down the road that they came from, which had the park there as well. And so I do my normal jogging, and I see that as I turn the corner to see where they were going, that they had, the one guy was checking out the vehicles, front yards on the left side, and the other one was up on the driveways checking out the vehicles inside on the right. And I just running by and run past them and go down to the other first street past the park, and then turn back and tried to see where they went. They went through the park and then went down to vandalize the vehicles down the other road there because of my presence. So I reported that and identified who they were and all that stuff. And it was a pain to have to bring my cell phone with me every time. nonetheless, we cleaned up the place. I cleaned up the place. And so people were left alone after that. And so I saw the techniques and tactics that criminals use here in Utah. There are several varieties that were utilized. And so when the people got complacent, like Bednar says in his little video clip, I was abandoned, and so there was no neighborhood watch anymore. Nobody's coming to the meetings, nobody's wanting to do anything to help. I'm doing it all myself. Obviously, it's over. And so then it became known it's over. I went back to my normal running route. And so the criminal element, the gangs in the surrounding areas, he's not doing it anymore. And thus instantly tagging, marking their territory. And the first instance was at a street intersection. They had gotten some new recruit who wanted to prove himself and tagged that. And then one day while going to church, walking to church, I saw a guy come from the Kearns, from the trailer park in Kearns, come out, walk across the street, and then came down and turned on that first street. And when I got to that point, I saw that he was, because there's graffiti all over the fence, tagging at the fence. And he got on his cell phone and was talking to somebody. A rival gang tagging in somebody else's turf. All because the people bailed on me and abandoned me. And so, yes, I know the gangs and the Kearns and the other side of the street and the rivalries that go on in that area. And so, yes, what happened at the funeral was a direct consequence of that, the Kearns people going to that church and West Valley, and the other church just up the road, or the other one that we got transferred to. So those would be the guys, and the news says they got everybody who was involved, so there you go. Wasn't that a fun story to tell? Lindsay Chauncey on trial for postpartum depression. There's no such thing, women. Again, did your medical doctor tell you this, or did a psychologist tell you this? Psychologists lie. They bully you. They name call you. They take your money. Just like bullies in grade school. Hey, Four Eyes, give me your lunch money. I know you're stupid, but what am I? You're stupid to infinity. I double dog dare you. Yeah, psychologists. They came from Nazi Germany. Operation Paperclip. Utah's the highest per capita because they were sent to the asylum in Provo. Continuing the human experimentations on apostates now. Highest per capita. That's why all the women are the highest per capita on depression drugs. Postpartum depression. Psychologists. Not medical doctors. Because if you told your medical doctor, he would say, well, how are you sleeping? I'm not. Do you have anybody to help you? No. You just had a baby ripped out of your womb. A tumor. It's not a tumor. Yes, it is. It's an active malignant growth. Who is your daddy and what does he do? And so that in and of itself can kill the mother with the bleeding that can ensue after that. Many women die from that. You know, Rachel from the Bible, Benjamin, she's dead. That kind of thing. So that in and of itself is traumatic. And then you've got this crying baby who won't go to sleep, won't let you sleep, keeps wetting itself, and crying all the time. You can't shut it up. And then you're not sleeping. You need sleep. So yes, you start to hallucinate, you start to get aggravated, you start to get cranky, you start to get grumpy, you start to get frustrated, and you can't figure out what to do because nobody's there to help you and teach you what to do. Yeah. That's her defense. And so her mom got up the other day and said, yes, she changed. She is not acting the same since the psychologist drugged her. The drug she's taking changed her. Obviously. That's why women need a concubine. That's why polygamy is best. Church is true. So I feel for her because she doesn't want to kill her kids, but she just lost it, and here she is on trial for her life now. And the psychologist says, oh, I never saw this coming. Well, actually you did. She called. You knew, and you did nothing about it. So yeah, she put out the warning signals, and nobody stepped in to help. Every new mother needs to have somebody with them 24/7 to allow them to get some sleep in between times, to help them, to teach them how to do things, to get milk pumped so that others can feed the baby while you're sleeping. It does not have to have this much stress for a woman. And yet psychologists are now getting exposed nationwide, not just Utah, for murdering people. Because Hayden's the next runner-up on The Price is Wrong. Psychological drugging. They say that she was also a drunk and that her a doctor, whether it's a medical doctor or a psychologist, told her not to do it. But she was also depressed over the death of her brother, and also postpartum depression. And so God, she was good, but she gave up acting. She just quit and then went and did a family. But still, 36 years of age, and I see the tide to psychologists, and I hear that it was an overdose, potentially. We're waiting for the toxicology report. You know, medical science. But yeah, if it comes back as an overdose of psychotropic drugs, we've got another case of another celebrity being murdered by their psychologist, as the other guy from the other year also, and others who are drugged who end up dying from overdoses. Their psychiatrists have to write the prescriptions. It's just tragic. None of this has to happen. And yet it is. And it's getting exposed. And so I'm hoping that the nation will figure out that it's psychology that's to blame for this, as they are trying so far to treat it as an individual, isolated incident, just like they do in Utah. But how many thousands more do we need until you figure out it's not an isolated incident, it's a cause? Psychologists don't want you to know the cause, because then they'd get fired. You'd go to your medical doctor instead. I mean, the drugging of kids? What the bleeping hell? That is criminal in and of itself. All these kids getting drugged as kids. Their lives are ruined. And so, yeah, being drugged as a kid, being told that they're special. Yeah, they don't want to do anything now. Oh, I'm special. I'm not capable. I'm mentally retarded. So, yeah, they don't do anything and they're good for nothing. And it's difficult to get them under control because, well, I'm mentally retarded. It's what I do. I'm supposed to act this way. And then it just perpetuates the problem, and more drugging and more drugging and more drugging, and then institutionalized. And I would do that video, but YouTube flags it as a suicide warning. You dumbass mentally retarded AI. Suicidal tendencies institutionalized is exposing the causation so that we can have them locked up in prison for being psychologists and doing the Nazi experimentations in America. All I wanted was Pepsi. I just wanted a Pepsi. You're on drugs! No, I'm not. That was a favorite in high school. Oh, my hell. So, yeah, I parted another water again. How many more do I have to do until I prove myself to Mormons? I parted Lake Powell now, after parting Lake Mead last week. Already parted the Green River again. Record-breaking historic for Oakes' birthday. Oakes' birthday. I, Travis Wayne Goodsell, called it out in advance, having dreams, warning Oakes. Oakes, I had dreams. I'm having dreams. 2 sets of 4 this time. Nelson only had 3. And more dreams. And then his birthday. Oh, crap, I warned you and you fled the country. Why didn't Suarez do it? You lied to the reporter. Tell the truth, Oakes. I humiliated you, despite YouTube shutting me up. Because your Strengthening Church Members Committee reported it to you. You knew in advance, and you lied. This church is mine. You failed. You are not authorized. Sign it over now. So, Gilbert is among the last page. to explain why my numbers are dropping even more. I can do them out of order. Just skip them when I get to it. Gilbert was exposed by the Salt Lake Tribune of being a Nazi to the BYU professors. He was conducting extensive interviews above and beyond the regular Temple Recommend questions, wanting extra and above conformity and compliance to his interpretation of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, with full approval from Dallin Harris Oaks, who was his mentor. A master always has one apprentice. And I saw it. They would do stuff together, do devotional talks or speeches together, and firesides or whatever, together. So I saw what was being done to Gilbert. He was being groomed by Oaks. And Gilbert conformed and complied. And so this is what he was doing, was the orders of Oaks upon BYU professors, to shut them up and silence them, to have them read from the manuals and nothing else. And so that's also part of the scandal as to why they did that when Holland got up and said, "Shoot the gays." BYU professors have betrayed the church. And it goes all the way back to September 6th with Oaks. BYU professors betrayed us. So Oaks is all about getting Mormons under control. Taking away agency. Because the church lies. And Mormons catch on. When they read, they see something different. and so the Salt Lake Tribune had to speak to certain people anonymously because they were afraid for their lives, not just their job. They were in fear that they were going to lose their job if they weren't righteous enough for Gilbert. And so it was hilarious when Sarah Murphy interviewed Gilbert after becoming an apostle, because she's clear across the room. And oh, look, his wife is also there. That was another thing that Gilbert did at BYU, is to make sure nobody is left alone in the room together. That was part of the strictness. And yeah, Mormons who are denied sex ed and vilifying sex when natural humans can't. We can't just turn it off. And so it's all built up inside of us. And so when we're alone with somebody, oh crap. Pretty soon your family starts looking worse and worse. And women at the office start looking better and better. And before you know it, boom, you've had orgy sex with all the women in the office and now have to work for an all-male architectural firm. You can be together forever someday. And that's where women don't get it. You're married, how could you do this? Well, I ain't getting none from my wife. That's how I can do this. And now we've got soft swinging. There's no such thing. It's swinging. And soaking, oh my hell. It was Stanford, right? Who sent me the comedian in Utah. I caught that part. The whole world is laughing at you, Mormons. You're trying to be normal, and it just ain't working. And so now that Gilbert is an apostle, having succeeded at BYU, put in by Oakes, who was grooming Gilbert, I now noticed my stats change. Because I used to joke about how all of my viewers are from the church office building. Granny Hacker, working for the church, Strengthening Church Members Committee. And so they've learned now, the Strengthening Church Members Committee have learned that they can't come and watch my videos on my site because then it counts as a view. And YouTube is also involved in covering up and hiding the thumbs downer now. I don't know if they know that or if it was the Mormon who was doing that, because it was also over the weekends when they weren't in the church office building. But regardless, I was able to identify through the patterns where people were located. Oh, a power outage? Oh, what a coincidence. That's the church office building. Ooh, that's down there by Provo. And so, yes, people have learned now to do a copy and paste onto whatever downloader system they're using for my YouTube videos to put them in my troublemaker file 36434 so that they don't count a view for my video content, but they're still able to give a report to the corporate board for their meetings, most likely today, as you had witnessed the attack at Shift Change. And so the stats, they purged them in 2023, and I complained about that, and I just saw earlier this year they put them back. So they're able to cover them up and hide them from me, not actually delete them. They know the real stats, and I know that there have been women who are younger than I am watching my video channel, and yet, nope. Not according to the stats. And I know there are younger men, and finally they did a token young men when I complained about this, but token. They're not wanting to reveal real stats, and this is the problem with AI. It projects. It's programmed to project, and so the way in which it's done is a programmer says Travis Wayne Goodsell is to receive 100 views per 28 hours or 24 one day. Less than 100, 50 to 100 total views per day. And so then it projects when I would get the views to conform and comply to the projection algorithm that the human programmed it for. This is why Trump won in 2024. AI was first used in a voting machine, in the voting machines for the first time ever. Trump didn't win. He was slaughtered. And, ooh, look what he's doing. You looking at the big picture yet? If you don't know, I referred to you to 3 Nephi chapter 7. Told you so. And so that's how YouTube is shutting me down. When normally I would be getting thousands of views for a breakout video. Ooh, 50. And there's a revenge feature in the programming that if somehow I get a breakout of views not approved of, it punishes me with 0 views for several hours afterward. It will not allow me to increase my base. And then they add on top of it with the extortion threat with no guarantee that it will work. Pay us and you can get more views and recommends. The algorithms are already rigged, but they're trying to claim that I can pay more to boost my algorithm quota, is what they're talking about. This is all criminal. And this is why they're getting sued along with other social media sites. This is the rigging of social media to force you to make certain people popular and others gone. And this is dangerous because you're in danger, and I'm warning you about this danger. And the word is not getting out. I just destroyed Oaks with my powers, and nobody knows. And marked for death, you need to show the people your power is greater than his. And I did. And Oaks knows it. He's known it the whole time. That's why they have to cheat and commit crimes. So Gilbert is helping to stem the tide, as well as do what he was assigned to do, to become an apostle. Is now he's doing it to the church office building and any employee for the church there. So because I joked about only the church office building or watching my video content, well, that's an easy fix. We're going to force them not to watch YouTube while they're working. Do you watch apostate videos? And if you say yes, you're fired and excommunicated. And so the whole employment has to stay off the internet at work and at home, because they hack your system to find out. This is why the church wanted Utah government to access the subscribers of Utahns who are watching what on social media sites like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. This is why they want you to sign in to prove who you are. This is why AI is around, so people can hack your personal information. It's all for the church and Big Brother 1984 and the coming millennium. Yeah, it's that scary times infinity. So, oops. We only want to listen to things that are faith promoting, Travis. You're in the wrong time period, in the wrong church for faith promotion. You gotta plug in the virtual reality suit and live that life. Which, there was a movie on that, wasn't there? Yeah, there was. I can't remember the name of it. But, you know, a guy is living in a post-apocalyptic world where everybody is struggling to survive, so they end up going into a virtual reality world, and the one kid goes into virtual reality world and conquers the government leaders to save everybody. Something like that. That's a reboot of Keanu Reeves's series Matrix. So yes, I parted the waters. I'm parting them still. I told you in advance I was going to part the waters again. They're demanding I part the waters again. Alright, fine. I did it during the test run. I showed for dress rehearsal. Jesus didn't show. what I showed for dress rehearsal, Jesus didn't show. That's why I do the pictures of the Exodus with Moses confronting Yul Brynner, as portrayed by Nelson, and then by Oakes, and then the parting of the waters. Me, I did it through the Spirit. That's why Mormons who do watch don't understand it, because they don't know the Spirit. They're looking for literal histories. They're looking for Oakes to stand before a river of water and raise his hands above his head and repeating aloud 3 times the words Pele El, and then the waters will magically part. And it'll be dry, not muddy. So, walks across with his walker now, despite his hip replacement. That's what Mormons are looking for. That's what they're waiting for Jesus to do. No show Jesus. No show Oakes. Me. But from what Mormons don't understand. They don't accept it. I had dreams. I have prophecies. I give you calendar dates and clock times. I'm a translator of Paleo, Hebrew, and Egyptian. I have the keys of Moses, all the other keys. And Mormons reject me when it's blatantly Captain Obvious. It's really that simple, and Mormons look beyond the mark. And all I'm doing is trying to save your lives, and you won't let me. No! Bondage is true. 723 jobs. God. I was saying over 400 yesterday. So when I got the pretty picture today, or last night, yeah, the church fired 723 Mormons. I saw a young couple, newly married couple, and they're saying, oh, we have to move. There's no other jobs in this town. The whole town was based upon Tyson Foods, and they shut it all down, claiming cows. And I just cringe, and you're saying, Travis doesn't, it's Tyson Foods, it's not the church. Yes. Remember, they had to pay a fine of $5 million for SEC violations for just the one source of revenue, tithing at Ensign Peak Advisors. The church is involved in the stock market, controlling companies and what they do. That's why Google has rigged their algorithms. That's why YouTube and other social media sites have rigged their algorithms. Because the church ordered them to as stockholders. When you hear companies talk about stockholder meetings to make Elon Musk a trillionaire, it's the church. They own the stocks. They're a major stockholder. And likewise, all I have to do is go to the video and look for the company. There it is. And Tyson Foods, when I did the recording, I even highlighted it. So I got that picture rather than having to go back in and putting a little red asterisk to highlight where it is. Rather than you searching through, and I try to make it in the middle, but nonetheless. Taking out the trash from the doggy pound. So yes, these Mormons are not able to pay tithing anymore. The church shut it down. Because they have to inform their stockholders. Stockholders have to be aware of this so that they can sell the stocks today. Don't want insider trading for the church to make money off of this deal. Oh wait, the stocks did fall yesterday, didn't they? Huh. What's that Iran war that's still going on, Travis? Are you sure? Tyson's on the stock market. Did you not check them? Who were those who sold their stocks? Did you check them? You just learned that Trump, shockingly, is involved in insider trading. What a shocking surprise. We thought he was a good old boy. We thought he learned his lesson from his first term. Bednar. Next. So the Matt guy on KSL apparently came from Kirtland, and so he was specifically assigned to report on it. And, oh, yay! This is so cool! And he failed to do his job. The religion reporter is not about being faith promoting to a religion. You're still supposed to report the news. You're not supposed to use your faith promotions to promote a religion over another. You're supposed to investigate. If there's a crime that you investigate, oh crap, my church is involved in money laundering, extortion, prostitution, sex trafficking, insider trading, IRS fraud, insurance fraud, cooking the books. He is duty bound by his education, certificate, and job. Oh, the church owns KSL? So wouldn't that be a conflict of interest? Yeah. So instead of investigating the church of what he himself is also committing the crimes for, he covers it up and hides it and is talking to Bednar about faith promoting stuff. Oh, the prophecy of Kirtland, is it fulfilled? No. No, I mean, maybe partially in the process, but no. It's fulfilled! And in the next couple of days, I'm going to do more videos on how it's been fulfilled. Bednar denies the gifts and powers of the Spirit of God, you dumbass. Do your investigation. And Mormons are so desperate to prove to the world that the church is true for once that they make up prophecies. They make up stuff to try to get people to believe that, oh, yay, it's true. Just like with Nelson, October 2019. Yeah, next year, a whole year is going to be a big celebration of the bicentennial of the first vision. We've got things planned for the whole year. It'll be a conference you'll never forget, this next conference, because it'll be a special conference in April. You'll never forget it. And so then creeping death comes. And Mormons don't see that prophecy getting fulfilled. Instead, the one Mormon that I saw did the video about Nelson prophesied that it would be a conference we'd never forget. I parted the river, the Green River, Lake Mead, and now Lake Powell. I prophesied of the storms for Nelson's or Oakes's birthday. I didn't know it was going to be 3 days, but, well, you know. I don't know my own powers, I guess. And Mormons don't care about that. They're making stuff up to be a prophecy fulfilled because they're so desperate for leadership that have those gifts and powers that they clearly understand from Scripture. And they're not getting it. These guys are false. They deny the gifts and powers of the Spirit of God. And Bednar told you, no, it's not. And you weren't listening. And so then his finishing question in the video clip was about lazy learners and lax disciples who get comfortable and let's see if I can find it. Yeah, casual complacency among Mormons because there's so many temples close by. Casual complacency. Already got the clip ready to go. And I just cringe. You know, he's clearly doing steroids. Dude. And I'd see lots of Mormon men doing steroids. Lots of women doing Botox, mutilations. You're mutilating your bodies, guys. Are you really that ashamed of yourself? Thank you, Sarah. We're gonna have to stop, so it's a good thing I did the Gilbert one. Oh my God. Because we're going on 2 hours now. It was 45 minutes for the first one, wasn't it? Yeah, 45, and we're almost to an hour, so an hour and 45 minutes, and we should try to go faster. So yeah, it was a record-breaking storm, historic. See, this year, like every year, they talk about the 11th of August from 1999 with the tornado, because that was rare. That was historic. But this, oh my God, I don't think they're going to talk about the tornado ever again. It'll be Oakes's birthday, and notice how they're not connecting it with Oakes's birthday. Again, nobody wants to acknowledge, and the church is making sure they won't acknowledge that it was tied to his birthday. I called it out in advance, months in advance. I didn't even know it was a birthday when I was first getting the dreams. I just have the dreams, I have the inspiration, I do the videos that I do. And then bada book, bada boom. And Mormons don't see it. Ooh, good. This was all about the Bednar. Yes, desperate. Okay. One paper down. Hugh Hefner, as I told you yesterday, tried to save Mormon girls from Epstein. All girls. He reported Epstein to the FBI, and the FBI did nothing about it. See, people vilify Hugh Hefner because he obeys the Constitution. and the 13th Article of Faith. He's a closet Mormon. Practicing polygamy. And so, yeah, the Epstein scandal is just horrific. And the new guy now, he is not wanting to do anything with the Epstein files because Trump's ordering him not to. Because Trump is protecting the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, not himself. Because Trump was a secret spy to infiltrate the Epstein organization to shut it all down. He had no choice but to get bit on his little mini-me by the 14-year-old girl. He had no choice. He was undercover. Didn't want to blow his cover. He had to use his daughter to be used and his wife to be. He had no choice. He was undercover. He was going to expose the deep state. Those Clintons. And then the files came out, and we saw the Mormon church involved in the pint of Mormon blood from the Zorro Ranch. And now they're preventing the Zorro Ranch investigation from going forward. The president of the Mormon church. So now you see why Tim Beller did what he did, but he didn't know of the Epstein situation and that scandal that ensued. It all ties together, people. All ties together. Second counselor in the primary presidency. What the bleeping hell is wrong with you, girl? In conference, a couple years back, or a year or two, I don't know, whatever, she got up and talked about how kids should stone apostates. Those who don't believe the church, they should be stoned. For 5 stones. So this time around, she did an activity at Temple Square, or Salt Lake, or whatever crap. And now she's telling the kids to not associate with anybody who will not believe the standards and values of the church. So if they're Christian, if they're Islamist, you have to tell them, you don't believe like me, I can't associate with you. I cannot be your friend. And so then Mormons then see that and apply that in their daily lives, and then treat other people as the enemy. Not just not associate with them. And so that will lead to hate. Hate will lead to crime, and crime will escalate to violence. And then you've got a Mormon who murders or attacks a Muslim Islamist who actually is a sleeper cell terrorist, but because of what the church told you to do, you now get busted. And Islam goes free to wait until they are then activated again for the next wave of attacks coming up in the coming days. Miss North Carolina. Dear God, girl. So the apostate woman was the one who said that she's a Mormon. So, because none of the news made the connection with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They just said Christian values. should have known better, I guess. Everybody's a closet Mormon. And so she was dethroned as Miss North Carolina. As the company said, we do not tolerate racism, sexism, bigotry, homophobia, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to find out, what did she say? And I find out, well, okay, it was way back when she was 17 years old, went under a different pseudonym on her social media sites and whatever channel or site it was. And say, okay, what did she say? And so the best that I can find is that she used the N-word too much. Nurturing. You know, like the F word, family, friendly, forgiving. And so, okay, but what did she say? How did she use it in context? Because it's one thing for somebody to say that, but what is the context? Is she condemning it? Or is she embracing it? And is she embracing it incorrectly? Because I went on my mission to the New York mission. And I, as a missionary, white guy, had elderly women. There was an elderly woman who told us the difference between the N-word and a regular. But in the black communities, N-word is used all the time among each other. It's even a term of endearment. And so, yes, the next thing I did was, well, she looks a little dark. Let's check her heritage. Oh, Honduras. And so I checked for Honduras. And, oh, okay, well, there's a 2% chance that she could be black. So apparently slaves weren't really a thing in Brazil. But she's definitely a Spanish native mix. And it's wrong for people to say indigenous. We need to really get people to stop saying indigenous. Plants are indigenous, not people. Because DNA is out now, and the DNA has shown that those in the Americas are from China or the Vikings. But most of the Viking versions are murdered. And so you have China then that shows that they came from Southeast Africa, where we all do as humans. And so to deny this by saying that those who live in the Americas are indigenous is to deny this DNA science. And you don't want to do that, because then the church will say, see, the Book of Mormon is literal history true. And the whole DNA argument goes the way of the dodo bird. It's a church plot. And so, if people could just understand we're all human, that the 14th Amendment, Section 1, before SCOTUS will destroy it, because they've already taken away women's rights, black rights, almost LGBTQIAPO plus rights in Canada 2S, and I did the picture, yeah. The 51st state is Iran. And the 52nd state is UAE. Yeah, I got that picture still. Oh my God. And so, yeah, this is just name-calling bullying, using words that originally were innocent. Nigeria, as we phonetically pronounce it, rather than the Latin phonetics. Yeah, that's what all this is about. White bullies who have used the alternative pronunciation as a derogatory term to ruin the language, ruin communication. And instead of calling out the bullies from the beginning, they allowed it to continue, and that always emboldens them to expand upon it. Here we are. And so I don't know the context of what she used it as. But North Carolina, yeah. My mom's dad's side of the family comes from North Carolina. I told you. My plantation owner ancestor raped the 14-year-old white or black African slave ancestor from West Africa. And so there is a long history of slavery in North Carolina and in the South. But not as much in Brazil, apparently. Nonetheless, maybe at one time, but definitely the Caribbean islands. But that's according to the stats. Maybe that's current. Maybe they did away with that and chased out all the blacks. So there's only 2%. Like Utah. Hey, Utah, mass exodus occurring. Brazil, mass exodus occurring, and Oaks had to go down to Brazil. Try to inspire them to come back to the church. Here's a temple. Come to church again. We're opening up several missions. Come back. Or else. I'll do what I did to Utah for my birthday. Oh, you're going to take credit, are you, Oaks? I dare you to take credit for it. and so, yeah, claiming her religion is being attacked. See, again, I need to know. I need to know. Was she trying to claim that they were fence sitters in the premortal council in heaven? I need to know context. The news won't give us this. They only report what they're told to report and will not investigate and actually tell us the facts. That is a miscarriage of justice, and the press needs to stop it. Okay. 2 hours. What the hell? The Kingston clan. Yeah. 2019. Nelson, under Oakes's commands, changed the Articles of Incorporation and changed the law of chastity, specifically, even though it did other changes to distract away from it. But my second former caught it, told me. And so I obtained the footage. Been doing the pretty picture video clips for you ever since. He changed the vowels to plurals. The church is not embracing LGBTQ rights. So there's no need to be wondering if that's the case. They're resuming polygamy. They've always told us they've been resuming polygamy, even though they no longer publish Bruce R. McConkie's works. In the millennium, when Jesus Christ comes for his genocidal murder as flaming, burning Jesus, effeminate, flaming, burning Jesus, they all wore dresses back then. They all had long hippie hair, like women. That would be an awesome clip. To have a picture of hippie Jesus, the new one that the church put in videos, with his appearance to the Nephites at the Bountiful Temple, and then have the audio of Oakes or Kimball's conference talk about that, condemning it. Brilliant idea. Now somebody who's hearing this is going to do it first. Because I don't know when I'll ever get to it. You know, I can write it down, but Book of Mormon, vid, Jesus, pick, Kimball, audio, condemn. There are bearded women. Is he bearded though? I don't think so. I think he's just got the long, flowing hair. So the Kingstons are a polygamous branch off from Brigham Young. All Reds and the serial killer last name. Bundy's. Ted Bundy, right? But not just the Jeffs. They're all branch-offs from Brigham Young when the United States shut it all down as an illegal criminal operation. Financial criminal. Tithing criminal. And so the church wants to restore polygamy again. So they're going to wait until they overthrow the United States of America. That's why the law of consecration. We're going to overthrow the government and establish our kingdom over the ruins of America. And you all need to swear a blood oath atonement to keep it a secret. Don't tell, or we'll murder you. Activate you, I mean. And so these other groups of Mormons said, you can't be true. John Taylor made it very clear, it's God's will and it would never be taken away. And so the church is publishing that for their Doctrine and Covenants next year. See? It's not a test run. They're doing it again. It was a test run for 2020. Oaks got leaked. Test run. For Armageddon. Second coming. Jesus. Thus polygamy. Thus in 2019 they changed the law of chastity to polygamy. In preparation for the second coming, if it happens. I showed for dress rehearsal. Jesus didn't. So here we are again. They're preparing for polygamy. They still have the change in the temple, but now they got leaked by the church historian, who's now gone missing. After I did the video on that. They're publishing John Taylor's Revelations on polygamy next year. with the new temple open house and eventual dedication, which in the fall, with the polygamy scriptures in the fall, I see it coming. They're shutting me up. So maybe we should focus on that. And so for the state of Utah, the government caught it. In 2020, the Utah legislature passed and had approved a decriminalization of polygamy. It's now just a misdemeanor offense. No longer a felony. And they did it under the cover of that famous TV family. That they are being specifically used to why we're doing this. Because they're so popular and everybody's upset with us. It will ruin the show. And now, after all these years, for now the upcoming one, they're only going after the Kingstons, the other branch-offs. And a single family was targeted, and the children were removed from the family, and the family is getting locked up, even though it's a misdemeanor in the state of Utah. Because they're going to do aggravated charges of child endangerment to justify it. See, for the church, they'll let the church go and get away with it. But the Kingstons, Allreds, Bundys, etc., Jeffs, nope. They're not allowed. They're not true. And this goes back to the primary counselor who's telling Mormons not to associate with apostates. Utah government has the same attitude. If you are not faithful Mormon, you will be punished. Just like the church, you must be a faithful Mormon or Gilbert will punish you. Bring it, Gilbert. I'm older. Put you in your place. And so, yeah, it's a dangerous time right now. And that's why I worry that things are not going to be done. So I think we're going to title this video, The Restoration of Polygamy, for October 2027 conference with the Polygamy Scriptures of John Taylor again. Why there's inverted pentagrams on the keystones of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple, Mormons. No, there isn't. So, AI YouTube, I think, will postpone, do a separate video, I guess, which may never get done. I already told you about genocidal Jesus from the Bible. And then Gilbert. And God, YouTube. The church is now preparing for Gencon, October 2026. Because the pictures aren't in order, so I can't go off of the pictures. I have to go off of this and then hope that I get the pictures in the video. So, but this we have to refer to the pictures. So on their homepage yesterday, they now have the Gencon notification. Oaks has been doing it early. Because usually it's after, or it's in the first week of September. God! Leave me alone, Microsoft! I don't want to cooperate. AI projections is saying, we know what's best. We recommend you do this. No! What are you doing? Mentally retarded intelligence. So, hear the word of God at General Conference, October 3rd to 4th. General Conference. Learn more. So, picture of Jesus to several places where this could be. I do see baskets of fish, potentially bread, so it could be that one rather than the Sermon on the Mount, or the other one. I guess it is a Sermon on the Mount, isn't it? Yeah, this is a seaside one, so that's why baskets of fish and bread. And General Conference 2026. Experience peace and hope. The church is involved in causing the chaos, destruction, fear, and violence. They ran a test run in 2020. Here they go again. This is supposed to be it. And here is how they're advertising it. From Oaks, who was the one who got leaked. Experience peace and hope. See, the church plays both sides. They're the enemy who causes everything, and then claim to be the good guys. They just won't come out and tell you directly. You have to investigate. You have to catch them leaking things. You have to know English grammar parsing through Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ is not their Lord and Master. Lucifer is. They're using Jesus as a front. And you don't know your scriptures to know that section 107 verses 2 through 4 is why we say the Melchizedek priesthood and not the priesthood of Jesus Christ. Because to avoid the too frequent repetition of the name Jesus, we, the members of the church, use the Melchizedek priesthood. And then Nelson gets up and says, frequently repeat the name Jesus, because he's offended. It's a major victory for Lucifer. You're denying the atonement. When he denied the atonement. That we have to frequently repeat the name Jesus to show reverence and respect. We created an idol statue god of him, 11 feet 4 inches tall. Here he is. We enthroned him in the visitor center. I called that out. Years ago. When I saw it coming, I covered it, and you missed it, didn't you? You just don't believe, and here I am, the whole time. And you're going to complain when it all hits the fan. Why didn't anybody warn us? We never saw this coming. If only somebody had warned us. We didn't cast him out and stone him and censor his YouTube channel. So then they do conference explaining. General Conference is the worldwide gathering of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints twice a year during the first weekend of April and the first weekend of October. Church leaders from around the world. No. at Temple Square. That's where they work. They're not from around the world. We have a bishop from Sweden who's here to speak at General Conference. No. The 12 apostles in the first presidency are in the administration building. Suarez was brought from Brazil to America and then became an apostle. Uchtdorf from Germany. Cassé from France. Catching the pattern? Kieran from Saudi Arabia. They don't come from the world. They're here in Utah now. God, they just lie to you. They deceive people. They can't tell the truth. They can't just be honest. And so they tell you how to prepare for General Conference. Ask questions. Well, isn't that what got you in trouble in the first place, was members asking questions? And then you having to refer us to our stake president for disciplinary action of a good whipping? But this is how they've twisted it now. Think about questions that are weighing on your mind. Ask questions through prayer and reflect on them while you listen to General Conference. 2, listen to the Spirit. Prepare your heart and mind to be open to worshiping Lucifer. To personal revelation from the Spirit to seek what God wants you to know, feel, and understand. Oh. And then record your feelings. I knew what I was talking about. Write your thoughts and feelings in a journal and add to them as you listen to General Conference. If you feel comfortable, share insights with your friends or family. I've learned for myself that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is false, Mommy. I feel such a burden lifted after coming out of the closet on this. And so, church shooting. Oh, okay. So, plans for Zion. And we're done. So, AI is the only thing I didn't get to, and that'll be a separate video, like the witchcraft. Where's that one? Satanic witchcraft temple rituals of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Okay. Plans for Zion. So I added another thing to the list, and it looks like I filed it. Nope, it's here. Number 19 now. Mass Mormon protests. I have Mormon Civil War, Mormons leaving Mass, but this is where Mormons demand the church change and stop, which would lead to a civil war because of the ultra Christies in the church who will do battle to protect the church from apostates. So that is also potential. And there are several of these that have already happened. Oaks fled. So that's abandoned, but it's not really. You have to add number 20. I know I have a flea somewhere here. Fear. Huh. I don't. What the hell? See, I have prophets quit, and I have prophets abandon, and that sort of, I guess, is flee. But abandon is not flee in the sense of why. Abandon is just outright, we quit. We're just abandoning Mormons. The winding up and dissolution of the church, where they say, that's it, we're done. It's not a quitting of they just up and quit and then don't transfer anything to anybody. That would be a separate thing. I've got to include all possibilities. So prophets flee. It needs to be put in here. Prophets flee, number 20. Probably would be better to have them put in order. So if I'm going to have it on the one page, I'm going to have to remove that tab. Otherwise, we're going on to page 2 for all of the ways in which the church can fall. So prophets quit. They just stop and then go into retirement and force the quorum of 70 if they are able to work, to go to work, and oh crap, there's no jobs for the church. What good am I now? Good for nothing. Go on welfare. Prophets confess and repent, restoring damages. Ain't gonna happen, but I have to put it on here. Prophets abandon. It's where they take them. It's sort of take the money and run. It's the winding up and dissolution of the church from their articles of incorporation. And it's different than fleeing because of the other stuff that I have here. And so prophets arrested. So they're unable to flee. Mormon Civil War, which could lead to the prophets fleeing. American Civil War, which could lead to the prophets fleeing. World War III, which could lead to the prophets fleeing. Mormons leave en masse. That's already happening, and so it needs to be in conjunction with others on this list. Natural prophecies fulfilled. Natural disaster, yeah. Oaks' birthday. This was before Oaks' birthday I had this here. And sure enough, Oaks left. He fled. Should have been Suarez. What's going on with Suarez? Or disease or viruses, which, yeah, we've got those too. Prophecy fulfilled. Deaths of 9, because in order to form a quorum, you have to have a majority, and then the majority have to unanimously vote to conduct business. With a majority to conduct business. And so if they only have the 6 remaining, church is over. They'll, of course, lie and do the 6, making the senior to be the president to restore everything, but it's not legitimate, according to Brigham Young's changes and his merging with Joseph Smith's revelation in section 107. But nonetheless, government deportation purge. Trump is doing that, but he thinks of Utah as a MAGA state, so he leaves Utah alone. Only goes after deep state Dem, Antifa, furry commie terrorist states. That's why we have not been conforming and complying as we should. We have 100,000 at least. And actually more, because Mormons are also illegal. We're not Christian. We're all supposed to be purged from Utah. Mormons do not understand that. Apostates do not understand that. And so yes, they only have the token amounts because it's what normal practice is anyway. Court losses. Church gets sued, lose. Teen takeovers. Yeah, that just happened in Los Angeles the other day, over the weekend or last week. Teen takeover. And it got violent. Financial theft. Well, Jesus is going to whip us good. His money has been stolen. Prophets relocate so that the headquarters is no longer Salt Lake City. It's Brazil or Africa. 9/11 event that targets Utah as part of the 9/11 event. Yeah, I have natural disasters. Then an AI Skynet Terminator attack. Like I said, I'm trying to tell me how to do things. It would be so much better if we take away your agency and just tell you how to do it, Travis. No! Do not go on autopilot. I need manual operation. Back off. And then fear of the gift and power of the Spirit of God. Yep, I already showed you how it works. That's why I put it on. Folks fled the country out of fear because I called it out. And then a mass Mormon protest. Plus the new one that I'll be adding about the prophets fleeing for fear. Rather than afraid and signing it over to me and calling it quits. Because fleeing, they'll hope that they can come back eventually. Whereas quitting and abandoning, they're not coming back. And the relocating, they're not coming back, they're relocating. So that's why fleeing is different. And so yeah, I was working on some other additions and reorganizing for this, in which I'm going to do that unless I do it first, so that I can, because I'm going to have to do the second clip first. Anyway, so because of the human factor, it's not going to be done the perfect way that I know it can be done. I have to factor in humans and their weaknesses and not knowing of the bigger picture, not knowing that we're not supposed to be Christian. The Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith's visions are not literal histories. It's going to be a shock to Mormons. And so the human factor has to factor that in. And so Mormons are traditionally still, for the most part, especially if Salt Lake City collapses, church quits, or falls, or transfers authority in whatever form or fashion it will take, Mormons are then going to default to Independence, Missouri. If not do their own thing, like I joked about with Alaska. They made a whole model of the tent camps of Moses, the house of Israel, in Sinai. To subject the kids to it. And so you're going to have those who will do that. Mormons who are preppers, who are going to say, oh, this is it, every family for themselves. And then, okay, son and daughter, start breeding. What? No! You gotta preserve the human race, kids. No, oh my God, this is awful. I want to leave. It will get ugly. I'm trying to warn you, you're not listening. you're going to have these Mormons. You're going to have the Chad Daybell Mormons. You're going to have the Brian David Mitchell Mormons. You're going to have people rise up and say, I was a stake president. I was a member of the Area 70. I was a mission president. I was a bishop. I was just only an elder. I went to the temple once. Who will try to be leaders, and you're going to get others who are just going to revert to their families to take care of their own families and screw everybody else, as everybody is going to be in survival of the fittest mode, having to fight for survival, because that's what we're warned about is going to happen. If you don't get to Zion, you're going to have to fight for survival, and Mormons don't know their scriptures to know that that's in section 45. And so there will be those Mormons who will then walk their way to Zion in Independence, Missouri. And then there'll be clashes because the people who live there are not Mormon and they don't want you in their land. And so, yes, more problems will ensue, and so on and so forth. So then there will be those who will say, oh, well, let's then avoid contention with these apostates, and then go up to Adam-on-Dahomey. And that's as far as they'll go. Maybe you'll have some Mormons who will go to Nauvoo or to Kirtland because the church owns those sites, but it's their own making now. They'll create a reason for going there instead. But Mormons will never know the truth from 19 July 1840. Because the church has shut me up. And so the human factor, if the fall and the transfer happen, is to let Mormons gradually catch on. And so I've got staging areas in advance of the building of the actual location. So the first one obviously would be Salt Lake City. If Oaks is wetting himself for my weekend video content and decides, crap, it's over, and he signs it over with AutoPen because his hand shakes too much. Then I can get things going and finally do something. And so, yes, they have to leave the administration building, and so I would then use that as the central command center to get this started. And so I would then conduct the initial interviews of those in this valley who find out on the coming Sunday, which, if it's this week, this Sunday. If it's next week, then the next Sunday. If it's the next week, then it's the next Sunday. Don't let me get bored again, Oaks. Remember, we still have one more sign in the heavens to go. What the hell did you do with my mom? And so, yes, I would be conducting the initial interviews of those who choose. They would come to the administration building. And I don't know how many of the already employed here will want to stick with me, or if they're not. Church security, are they going to stick with me or not? Because there are going to be those Mormons who are going to want to murder me to prevent all of this from happening. There are going to be those who are going to be wicked, who are going to want to come to Zion under false pretenses to try to deceive me so that they can destroy Zion. There will be those people. So, good luck with your attempt, but You aren't going to like the consequences when I expose you. And when you think you got away with it, then I assign you to something that shows that you didn't. You need to tarry behind because we've got other members that need to come from around the world to this location. So you can stay right here and wait for them and let them know where to go next. Make sure that they're taken care of at this location as a rest stop until they go on their journey again. You stay here. Oh, we need you to keep staying. Even though all the wards have been reported, just in case other people who don't want to die in the war want to come, they need somebody to let them know where to go. So you stay right here. And they're not listening to this video content to know. And the Strengthening Church Members Committee person who's watching this video and is supposed to give a report on it, he'll think he's smarter than me. Despite what I did last week. And that's the thing. You just don't get it as evil. You're easily exposed. So yes, but for the most part, I'm having to figure out the two different groups, technically the three, the ones who stay behind, the ones who are coming in the Vanguard company to the next staging area in Adam-on-Diamond, and then those who will be coming after the Vanguard company gets the Adam-on-Diamond command center and cabins set up. I want cabins still. I don't want to do tents, and you don't want to do tents. So, trying to do it as perfectly as possible, despite the human factor that I have to adjust for. And so yeah, that's the intention. Is the next staging area is Adam-on-Diamond. And so the rest of those in Utah who don't get assigned with the Vanguard company would come with their individual wards. So no gang members. You will not be allowed. But so yeah, there's going to be a lot of people disappointed in Utah if they think they're going to come. Right, Todd? Dumbass. Betraying brother. What a shock. And then, yeah, Adam-on-Diamond would be the next staging area, and then Nauvoo. I'm still wondering about a Kirtland for those from the east rather than Adam-on-Diamond, because it would be kind of ridiculous, because to get to Adam-on-Diamond you have to go past Nauvoo. So I'm wondering if Kirtland should be their stop, which means that after Adam-on-Diamond we then take the Vanguard company to Nauvoo and set that up, and then we'd have to also go to Kirtland and set that up, and then have people stay at that command center, just like in Adam-on-Diamond. So that is something that I need to do too. Kirtland stop east. I'm wondering if the Manchester farm is an option. I don't think the Manhattan Temple would be an effective stop. We really don't have anything on the East Coast, do we? Other than that. But I don't think New York will be the place to go for safety. Utah wouldn't either, but anyway. So we'll think Manchester one, but the Kirtland, that actually is a good thing for Mormons, because that's a readily known one worldwide now, especially since we obtained possession of it from that female president. So yes, my mind is still wanting to go to that part of the Exodus plans, when I'm going, hold on, we're not there yet. The church hasn't fallen yet. It's well underway, but not officially. They are not transferring it to me. We have to wait. You have to do your part first before I can do mine. Wait! We're not done yet. We're not there. Stop! Don't get my hopes up. So, alrighty, that's it for that for today. 3 hours.